What's our guy name with the green eyes? Don Simpson. Is that his name?
Don Siegel?
No. It was like Donnie Simpson
Really?
or something like that. Green
Don
eyes.
Simpson is the producer that did Days of Thunder and Top Gun.
Hold on. He was on BET. He was on a couple things. Well,
I want to know.
Oh, I think you're right.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. I know Vin know what I'm talking about. Vin listen to R&B, but it's like something Simpson. I can't think of it though.
OJ
He was
Simpson?
on. Yeah, he was on there for a second.
That's a joke you would make. See, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's what I have to deal with every fucking week. Is you'll say a joke like that. I asked, who would you like to see John Cena face? And you said Harvey Weinstein. I'm like, you can't be serious for a fucking second. I was so pissed when you said that. I'm like, I'm gonna quit this show right fucking now. Like,
I mean, you don't want him to get an AA.
Harvey Weinstein.
He deserves an attitude adjustment.
I legit was like, you are a fucking joke, and you embarrass me. Like,
well, prepare to be embarrassed more. Here's the intro.
Emilio Sparks is gonna murder you for having an intro that long.
I don't give a goddamn. You don't even answer his phone.
You know what, man? I'm doing the best of BRP special guest stars, and the clip I cut from your appearance last year with Emilio is the part where he's like, "Wait, you mean the show hasn't started yet?"
Yeah, he doesn't. Because he hasn't listened to the other podcasts. He's
no, but I'm saying, like, you're like, you talk about the Young Bucks and, like, you know, and you have a whole point, and then, like, it segues into, like, fam shows. You know, I know we haven't started the show yet. And then Emilio's like, wait a minute. What do you mean the show hasn't started yet? It's been rolling, and then Kev's like, yeah, we haven't started the show yet. You know, this is all preamble. And he's like,
yeah.
But that's like, oh my god, the producer of me right now is losing. That's the clip that will be in.
No, that's why he's always said, like, he's gonna do an episode of the BRP cat. Like, he's gonna do BRP one day and just edit an episode, and it's gonna be like 20 minutes long.
No, I made that joke a few weeks ago where, like, his episode is, hello everyone, this is Black Wrestling, and see you next week. Like, that'll be like.
Yeah. No. Also, is my mic fine? Like, can you hear me?
No, it sounds perfect.
Okay, because like for some reason, like why it sounds fine when I record. When I record for Emilio over Zoom, but like for some reason over StreamYard, it sounds like I'm like talking back here like the whole time when I listen back sometimes. So
no, and I always tweak the sound anyway in post, so it's
fair enough.
But no, yeah, it's a big. Maybe that's why I don't. Even though we're not as bad as we used to in terms of, like, we don't go 3 hours or 2.5 hours that often anymore. But yeah, sometimes it was just dragging it out. Depends. Like, when you're on a roll, you can tell you're on a roll, but it's also just like, yeah. So again, like, it's a real radio show. Like, yeah, you know, so that's going on. Let's check the news and see that happened. You know,
Afghanistan.
Yeah, it's like, I feel like Harrison Ford, like, well, you know, this is going on, and I really don't care about it. You know,
now where's my wife?
Oh, the penitent man.
God, I was watching a Harrison Ford movie a while back. Who was the one? Was it Witness? I think it was the one where
with the Amish
country.
Yeah,
maybe the greatest, most baffling like end scene ever, where they corner him in the barn, and the guy's got he's holding his girlfriend hostage, and Harrison Ford just goes like, "No, stop!" Like, he's talking to his dog. And the guy just like has a break in his head, and it's like, oh, okay. And then he like throws the gun away. And I'm just like, that's how it resolves. He's just like, no, stop it. Like, this ends now. Like, I'm like, okay.
He might just have that presence of just like a guy who, like, that much of a crank. You're just like, fuck, all right already. Like, we get it. Jeez. Like,
but it was a weird movie too, because it's like half the movie is like this, I got to get out of a predicament courtroom drama type of thing, where it's like I'm caught up in this weird crime mystery, and the other half is like, it might as well be that like fucking Tim Allen movie where he goes to the Amish with
Kirstie Alley.
Kirstie Alley, yeah.
Yeah, I've never seen Witness.
Election denier now, I guess.
No,
she's definitely hardcore Republican.
Yeah, she is.
I used to think she was so hot too, Kirstie Alley. Like
during the Cheers days, or look who's talking. Like,
yeah, definitely like '90s Kirstie Alley. Because remember when people were like, "Oh, she's fat," and it's like she wasn't really that. She had some weight on her. Like people's standard for like what's big and what's not is like, really wild.
Damn, she's 71. I forgot she was on Cheers, so yeah, that would make you 71.
Yeah, she's someone who's like older.
Kirstie Alley was all right though, because I remember I was little when Look Who's Talking came out, and I was like, I don't know exactly how I feel about women.
The whole point of Look Who's Talking is she gets knocked up by George Siegel, right? Who's her boss and way older than her. And then John Travolta becomes her baby dad. Yeah, like exactly. Yeah. I mean, but again, the kid is voiced internally by Bruce Willis of all people.
And then in Look Who's Talking too, isn't it Roseanne is the other baby?
Yeah, but I love two things about Look Who's Talking. The first is
let me just guess one of those. Is it the Mel Brooks toilet scene?
No. It's when John Travolta has him for the day and he takes him, and like the girl at the counter's like, "Oh, he's so adorable," and then like the baby's like staring at her cleavage, and John Travolta's like, "Are you thinking what I'm thinking?" And he's like, "Yeah, lunch." Like, because milk and all that. The second is like when the guy who shows up to take Kirstie on a date is watching TV with Mikey, and then he's like, "Hey, look, it's the Bear Show," and it's a Snuggle commercial, like, like so sad. And the guy changes the channel, like, "Hey, I was watching that," like, and he fights for the remote, like.
Also, the second one, didn't Damon Wayans was in that one
as one of the voices of the kids at
the park
daycare, yeah, something like that, yeah.
God, what a weird. You remember how the second movie starts? The second movie starts out showing like a sperm, like there's a sex scene.
They both start like that.
Yeah.
Do they both start like that?
Yeah, because remember it was the whole Kirstie Alley with the boss thing, and then it was like, okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember being a kid and not like that again. Like I just talked to Megan sister about something. Like my mom, I watched that with my mom, and now I'm like, what the fuck was she showing me? Like, wait a minute, like I have no concept of like a sperm swimming towards it. Because she's like, that's how babies are made. I'm like, what do you mean?
You thought that was historic in the story?
No. That reminds me of how I found out. That reminds me of how I found out that titties have milk. As a little kid, I loved. Yeah, you're not even gonna know where this is going.
I'm like, why? What do you mean you loved?
When I was a kid, I loved like Mad Magazine, Crack Magazine, and like in one of the issues, they're like huge tits, like someone just like drew, and I'm like, look, mommy, she has huge boobies, and my mom like pulled me aside and was like, don't laugh at those, milk comes out of those, and I was like, what? So matter of fact, like, don't laugh at that. Milk comes from those. I'm like, what are you talking about? Milk comes from cows. What? Yeah, that's how I learned milk comes from.
Did you instantly think like it would be the milk in your cereal? Like did you try to like connect the dots after that? Like
I didn't know what to think because when you're that young, every new piece of information is mind blowing because you can't comprehend anything.
Yeah.
So to just hear like you're a real little kid, you just know milk comes from cows. You drink milk in the morning, it's in your cereal. Now all of a sudden, in an instant, you learn that boobies have milk in them. It's like, what is going on?
No, but I understand that because that's like, I think I've said this before, but I definitely saw Batman and Robin first. So then when George Clooney has his cameo at the end of Spy Kids, I'm like, Bruce Wayne is in this movie, Batman's in this movie, and not knowing like people are actors, like, you know, but I guess that's the thing too, like, hey, ain't that Bruce Wayne? Like, you know, like that we all use, like, ain't that what's his face from but yeah, I just like what's Batman doing in this movie? Like I could recognize he was Batman.
You can't tell with Spy Kids though, because people show up in Spy Kids and then they go on to be Machete like years later.
Well, no, in Spy Kids he's the president. What's cool is like he has like the CIA redacted bar over his eyes, and then he takes it off and then shows that he's George Clooney, which obviously was a favor to Robert Rodriguez from Dusk Till Dawn.
Mm-hmm. What a weird fucking movie that was, Dusk Till Dawn. Just like weird, like Quentin Tarantino fantasy porn. Like, yeah, we do a scene where Salma Hayek puts her fucking foot in my mouth and pours
Hey, not her feet in my mouth, but something else that I'll sign up. Yeah. Again, I ain't no toe boy over here. I don't dance.
Hey, listen, but if Salma Hayek's gonna do it, I'm not gonna say no to Salma.
And that's still the rationale. We're like, oh, if it was reality life, that you'd probably let her do it. I'm like, I'm not sure.
Certain ones, brother.
I'm not gonna write a movie with that scene in it where I'm a central character and she's doing that to me.
That's the whole point of being a writer director, though. Like, in a way, like men have been doing that for years, or like to make themselves look good in front of the camera. Like, in like Ben Affleck got in crazy shape for the movies that he was writing, directing, to be like, look how great I look, right? Like, just look how the camera linger on me, and like, and that's what people are trying to say maybe about Olivia Wilde with.
I'm saying like he wouldn't do that. Like, think about him doing that now. If Dusk Till Dawn never existed, and he was like, hey, I'm doing a passion project, it's me and Robert Rodriguez, and it's going to be, I got a scene in it, and people go see the movie, and in 2022, it's a scene where Salma Hayek sticks her foot in Quentin Tarantino's mouth.
He just literally did that, though. But he literally just did that with, well, 2 times in the last decade. It was, 2 decades, I should say, is Kurt Russell in Death Proof, where like he licks Mary Elizabeth Whiteside's feet. What's no, like,
but
what the fuck?
But I'm talking about you wrote the movie, and you put yourself in, you're a known director. And
but that's what starts it
as a central character.
No, that's it can't exist because he kickstarts it with that. Because then going forward, it's like I said, it's his fascination with
that. I mean, Spike Lee did that before Tarantino.
No, I'm saying, but for Tarantino specifically, it's like he had like there's the whole like foot massage part of Pulp Fiction.
Oh
like,
yeah, no, he's been putting feet in films for
and again, like the whole like Margot Robbie is sitting in the movie theater with her feet out, and I'm like, again, like cover them up. Like
no, he is NW toe for life. Like,
yeah, that's his thing. That's been known for years.
Yeah.
So, but I wouldn't put it in a movie.
What you were trying to say, like, it'd be the thing where, like, if it was a rumor, then finally, like, he puts it front and center by, like, writing the scene for him to be, like, it's kind of the reverse of that. I'm trying to think of something that is similar.
About somebody putting a fetish in a movie. I don't know. It's a
no, like someone like having a rumor like that.
That rumor about like it toes is crazy because that's like a nice rumor compared to the other ones in Hollywood. Shit.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, say I'm a toe boy.
Well, he knew about the Weinstein shit too. Like that's a whole other.
Yeah, that's why we're not gonna get the Richard Pryor movie. That's exactly why we're not getting that Richard Pryor movie because it was under his production studio.
Who's gonna star in that?
Mike Epps.
Oh, that would have been good.
Yeah, so they canned it just because of him being Weinstein.
Like you said, that's why he did Winning Time.
Yeah, I got to act it out somehow.
Yeah,
I got to act it out somehow. And then he
did all that research.
Yeah, he did it in Nina Simone movie as well.
Okay, that's
when not Zoe Kravitz, whatever.
Do you think they would have a bigger issue if it was Zoe Kravitz?
I mean, they had Zoe Saldana. They had an issue with it.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
It's like I wish we would have got that version of Bohemian Rhapsody with Sacha Baron Cohen as Freddie Mercury.
It still would have been a good movie with Bryan Singer at the helm.
It would. You're right. It wouldn't have. And I'm glad.
I'm not saying for the outside reasons. I'm saying like Bryan Singer as a writer director is someone I think who became overrated after the first like 2 or 3 films. Like his style, or like there was not much there after Usual Suspects.
Like
but even then,
you're good at doing X-Men movies.
Yeah. But even then, it was 2 X-Men movies because he come like Days of Future Past is not good. Apocalypse is bad.
Days of Future Past is not good.
It's not good.
Really?
Yeah.
Right. That's what I'm about to say.
It's been tricking y'all for almost 8 years now.
I want to hear this. What's your rationale for it not being?
Go ahead.
First of all, I don't like how he usurped Matthew Vaughn, who legit did the hard. No. Who Matthew Vaughn did the hard work of having to reboot the X-Men and make it cool again after Brett Ratner again, a talentless hack as well.
Damn.
No,
You gonna tell me that I'm wrong?
He's a big meatball. He sucks.
Brett Ratner rode the
You don't like the
fucking
Rush
coattails
Hour
of-
movies?
He rode the coattails of Chris Tucker. Money Talks,
Yeah,
2
Brett
Rush Hour
Ratner's not
films.
the reason those movies are good.
Yeah,
That's 3 classics, but you're right. It's not because of the director. It's because of the cast.
yeah.
Now, the
It's
Matthew
like-
Vaughn thing you just brought up, okay, that is, I agree with that because I would have liked to see a Matthew Vaughn Days of Future Past, but that's not what we got. So, like, in a vacuum, like, you go
Yeah,
in.
so that movie wasn't as like, and I know it's a much more serious story, but like it wasn't, and then it had that like slick, comedic, and like a great action style that Matthew Vaughn has created for himself over the last 11 years as a director. I know he kind of started with Stardust, but really kicks off with Kick Ass, then Days of Future, then First Class, and then all the Kingsman films. But Bryan Singer just made his like dour X-Men film, and sure, he might have that cool Quicksilver scene, but like what else from that movie is memorable? Like
Wolverine going into the 70s and doing Wolverine shit in the 70s.
no, it's just Hugh
Exactly.
Jackman doing the same stuff he's doing, except bone claws. And
But no,
everyone's
it's showing his past. That's the whole point. It's time travel. Time travel
But then-
always gets people.
and then we get what
The
Beast.
prophecy of him interacting with the newer X-Men that you have seen in the Matthew Vaughn films.
See,
And those guys are great. Like, so you get
Yeah,
sort of get a little of everything. It's a crowd pleaser movie. It's not, if you're looking for something
No,
interesting, you
People shit on No Way Home for having Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield come back, but they fucking lose their minds at Halle Berry and fucking Ian McKellen and Patrick Stewart.
wait.
come
You
back.
just said the name. You
all
said the
in
key name.
But it's
Halle
all-
Berry.
It's all in the execution. Halle
And the
Berry
execution was
is
bad.
part of that movie. Because she was in it for like no reason at all.
No.
yeah.
It was a good reason for that, man. Relax.
Okay, well, for Spank Bank it was, but
Yeah.
I would say the difference between something like Days of Future Past and No Way Home is Days of Future Past with story first, figuring out how do we incorporate these characters, not we got an idea where we want to put all of these characters in a movie. Now let's come up with a story to facilitate that. And that's where I think No Way Home kind of falters a little bit.
No, it was story
it's
first
all-
after they had done First Class, though, is the thing, because then the Wolverine comes out and that's when they allude to like something's going to happen. And then they just again streamline into like the Sentinels taking over in the first
But see,
5
I
minutes of that
liked
film.
that because I liked it because it's like you don't need to know how this happened. It's like we're here.
Yeah. No, I know that's correct. Yeah, but it's just like they knew they had like this big story, just like the same thing they've done with Dark Phoenix, but they botched that 2 times.
Well, Dark Phoenix sucks. That's legitimately bad. The thing with the X-Men movies that I always find fascinating is at a certain point I've stopped deconstructing them continuity-wise. Like I take each one as a story being told by someone about an event that happened in the X-Men universe. And when someone's telling you a story, most of the key players are going to be there. It's going to be like 90% accurate, but there's always going to be like little things that get embellished or told wrong. So when people complain about like, oh, in the solo Wolverine movie, like Xavier is this many years old.
Yeah, it's bad that they have Cyclops in X-Men Origins, and then like how old would Cyclops be if this is what 10 years, 15 years prior to
even in
the
the
meeting?
even in the Matthew Vaughn movies, like that takes place in what, the late 60s, and then like
Yeah, no, early 60s because it's Kennedy and the Cuban
early
Missile
60s.
Crisis.
And then we cut to
Yeah.
like the 80s, and then by Dark Phoenix, it's what the mid 90s, or I heard it was even like the early 2000s. But let's be
No, it's basically supposed to be like 60s in First Class, 70s Days of Future Past, 80s for Apocalypse because they see Return of the
these
Jedi.
people, like, are in our world would have aged like 40 years. But in these
And then-
movies, it's like the Apocalypse, they're in their teenage phase. A lot of them.
Yeah, they're 17, 18 basically because
Who would
like
be
you
a
said,
better Storm? Bianca Belair or Jade Cargill? I think Jade Cargill.
Yeah.
She's got like she's got the more dominant energy. I love Bianca Belair, but Jade Cargill is like she's got the big Storm energy.
Yeah, I say that as well. Yeah, I'll probably go with her over just because Bianca is such a sweetheart. You feel me? She don't have no edge to her in that regard, and that's not a bad thing. But Jade,
it's-
She's a superhero with that hair whip.
I mean,
but you're saying that now because
You gotta
the last
dye
3
it.
years, she's been the baby face of the company. Whereas like in NXT, like she was the villain and she was playing that role well as the
but she could tell.
EST.
Even then, it was just like, all right, she's a sweetheart. Not saying that's a bad thing, but you could tell she's like very nice, like very upbeat and stuff like that. Whereas Jade is just Jade. Like when she came out like a Thundercat last night, I was growling. But you feel me? That showed me that she can do that, you know.
Okay. Someone doing cosplay shows you they can do it. Okay.
Yeah, she muscly. Like Bianca Belair is muscly.
You're gonna. I do fucking Terry McGinnis cosplay. You're gonna say I could be Batman Beyond, like.
Yeah, definitely. You look like him. You look like you could play the Nightcrawler.
Terry McGinnis
from Batman Beyond. He definitely looks like the Nightcrawler from the X-Men 2.
Alan Cummings?
Yeah, you look like the extra actor.
I don't know if Alan. I don't know, and it's not even a knock. I just don't know if you look like Alan Cummings.
No, Alan Cummings is also too charming, and a fantastic actor.
Like, can you do cabaret like Alan Cummings?
No, that's what I mean.
Can you do cabaret? It's hilarious.
That's what I remember because for a long time he did cabaret on Broadway here in New York. So like I would always
the story about Shia LaBeouf getting arrested that he told on Jimmy Kimmel was like for being like drunk in public or whatever was like he went to cabaret and like Alan Cumming like was the part of the shows like you go into the audience or whatever.
Yeah,
and Alan Cumming. Yeah, and he's like Alan Cumming came right in front of him and Shia LaBeouf like and I grabbed his ass cheek because I'm like it's part of the show or whatever and you could like tell like Shia LaBeouf was just like fucking on one, but as Banks and I discussed a few weeks ago, was this all just one big performance by him? Because like who can really even know at this point? Because he had said like nothing ever happened like that in Honey Boy, which I expect because it's a biopic or like a biopic. So you can never trust those things anyway. But yeah, it's hard to say. But yeah, he told that story to Jimmy Kimmel. The whole time Jimmy Kimmel was just like, what? Like what? Just like dumbfounded like this whole story. He's like, yeah, like he said like I was drinking with these guys prior, and then I get to the show and I'm like, why not have some more drinks? Fuck it. Like, yeah, like like
grab Nightcrawler's ass.
Yeah.
If you can. You gotta be very fast. You gotta be Quicksilver.
But no, Vin, you on Oddball recently, you just talked about Rock and Jock. And funny enough, my mom was a huge fan of Rock and Jock. And for years, she's like, they should bring that back. Especially, and I think now more than ever with like that actors, rappers who.
You see, I agree, but also there's a part of me, and I was talking with shout out to Body More Bottles. I was talking to Zell before about this. It wouldn't be that. It would be all TikTok stars and like.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. Like,
here's Patrick Beverly throwing one out to the fucking that chef in Dubai who like food in the desert. Like.
True, that's what I mean. Like, no, you'd actually have to like to make it work because that was the thing, like they had like the stars of the moment, like TV's hottest stars or like biggest stars in music and like
Taylor Thomas.
Yeah, like fucking Leonardo DiCaprio from Growing Pains. Again, Marky Mark and his brother from the New Kids on the Block were there. Like. I think you would have to do a little bit of that. I mean, because that's what the NBA All-Star games, Celebrity Game has turned into, right? With like these TikTok influencers and all that. And they do have like a Quavo or like someone who's big time and is like can play a sport. Yeah. You'd have to kind of find that mixture still. But I think they could still run it back. I mean, again, Drake has his own basketball league. Like, again, if you bring him, if you bring like all these other guys who, no, he's a joke.
He's playing in a professional league.
Because his man's drafted him. Like, come on. Come on.
Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch? Yeah.
J. Cole is just a fucking joke. Like, let's stop it. Like,
no, he could ball, though. He could play.
He was putting up, 2 for 5? Like, come on.
Where's your 2 points in the NBA?
Oh, it's not even the NBA. Like, I should brag that I could put up 2 points in the CBL? Like... Dwight Howard's in China killing it, and they're like, "Yeah, no shit."
Well, yeah, Dwight Howard's in the Chinese league right now.
Fucking putting up Wilt Chamberlain numbers.
Well, that's like Stephon Marbury's a legend there.
Yeah, they built a statue for him, and again, like
they did.
I mean, what guy is gonna stop Marbury?
On YouTube to get a statue built in China.
Davis, your OG, he got a own. Well, that's actually a flex to have a basketball.
Yeah, that's what
court in your own house, but still. But Cole could play though. Cole is like one of those people that legit could play. So put him. I don't know if you're gonna put him against the pros. Put him against like some and one players.
No, hot sauce. It's like you're not gonna have him.
Yeah, you got to do something like that. Like you can't even put them against G League players because they trying to make it to the league. So they serious.
Yeah,
about
where they
this.
put Shaq and D Wade's sons on a team with J. Cole. Like,
well, Shaq's son's on the Lakers right now.
Did he make that roster spot?
I don't know. I don't think he made the roster spot, but it's they might as well put him on the team right now.
Right, because Scottie Pippen's son is on there. He's actually signed to the team.
Yeah. And everyone's waiting for Victor Wembanyama.
Yeah, I know.
A lot of people in that sweepstakes right now. The Pistons, the Magic.
The usual suspects. The usual.
Exactly. Houston, oh my God. Like, it's very clear they're tanking.
Yeah, they get him. Still not going to be good. I don't care if he's 7-1 shooting off one leg at the 3-point goal.
I was about to say, like, look what happened to, I mean, I don't follow the NBA like I used to. Like, look what happened to Chet Holmgren in preseason. And everyone's going to expect Victor Wembanyama to, like, not be the same thing.
Kenny Lofton's son. There we go. Killing it.
Is that no? I swear I've looked at that before. Is that actually Kenny Lofton's son?
No.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was too. Because I said it on
Wiretap
a couple months ago.
G League has also become a weird thing where people like over-evaluate. I mean, this has always happened, but now it's specifically happening with the G League where people are over-evaluating talent. Where it's like, oh man, Steve, you fat, put up like 50 points in the G League. It's like, that's great for Steve you fat, but like, is that going to translate when he gets to the NBA? Because right now he's just playing with other G Leaguers.
Right.
Well, all right. First of all, that's the well. You were just bragging about the fucking 2 points J. Cole was putting up in the fucking CBL, so I don't get it. Like, because he's not a professional basketballer, he's trying to make it as one. So don't contradict yourself here, Vin.
No, I'm not contradicting myself. Because listen, there's levels to this.
Yeah.
Nah, if my man could put up 50 points in the G League, he put up 50 points.
Like James Wiseman, they sent him from the Warriors to the G League, and when he's in the G League, the second time he's been there, he always puts up Shaq-like numbers.
Yeah, because then but compared to the average person, a G Leaguer is amazing. Now, a G Leaguer compared to an NBA player, that's different. It's like what Brian Scalabrine always says. He says when he did the Scallenge a couple of years ago, and he had average people on the street who were like, Scalabrine is a bench rider. Like, I could beat the shit out of him in basketball.
Yeah, he's saying the worst guy.
He said, I'm closer to being Kobe Bryant than you are to being me.
Yeah.
He's 100% right.
So that's what I'm saying. Like J. Cole can't even be 50 points in the G League because, again, the G League's not that bad. But no, again,
you would get killed in the G League.
Yeah. Because it's like he has to go play in the Canadian Basketball League. And no offense to Avery and all that, but again, like it's the Canadian Basketball League. Wasn't it fucking Royce White?
Never step up.
Isn't Royce White put up numbers there? Like, come on.
Nah, because he don't want to get on the plane. You gotta take a bus from Houston.
Yeah, that's what again. It's all Canada's all buses. It's all one fucking province to another province. Like, come on.
Yeah, but he legit can't get on planes. That's why his career didn't work out.
Yeah. No, that's the other reason why his career didn't work out. Come on.
Well, that's the main reason why he didn't want to get on the plane. They like, dog, you can't go from Houston to fucking New York, all right, on the bus.
What was it? John Madden famously didn't want to go on, but that was football. It's just 16 games a year. That's
right.
You could take a bus.
Right, exactly. And then you got a week to get there.
Make it happen. Yeah.
Well, you got a couple of days for practice and all that, but still, you can get there. Like DJ Khaled was scared of getting on planes for the longest time. He was just on the bus.
DJ Khaled's got a. Can we talk about DJ Khaled for a second?
No.
You go ahead. Okay. Hey, shit else going on. We at the end of the year.
I can't stand DJ Khaled. You want to talk about a fucking scam artist?
That's your man's. That's your man's man.
Oh.
He's got to stop with the dyeing the hair and the beard. He's one of those guys that
he's got to stop everything.
Well, when I see these guys on TikTok now getting like the painted beards, like that's DJ Khaled. He's getting a painted beard.
You haven't done that yet?
Me or Davis?
No, David can't get a beard.
Yeah.
I've never done the painted beard. No way. If for some reason my beard stopped growing tomorrow, I would, or went gray, I just let it happen.
Yeah.
Well, you also 21 too, Van, so I understand.
20.
That's what I said about Keith Lee's like, stop fighting it. We know you're getting old. We have Wikipedia, Keith. We can look up your age. Like,
how old is Keith?
Like late 30s.
I thought he was in like middle 30s. He don't look that old. He looked like Barry White, but still.
No, if you see clips of him like on
38
YouTube or whatever,
he just turned 38.
You'll see he's got like some gray coming in.
Yeah.
Oh,
Been having gray.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's probably using it just for men. He knows what's up.
No, I said this last week off air. Banks, I think you were with fan. Like the worst thing ever created was just for men. Like whoever did that, they deserve that. Yeah.
No, it's benefits some people.
Well, again, there's levels to this. If you're using the just for men, like the one that blends in like salt and pepper, like the blended color one, that's probably fine. But people like go right for the like I want black,
the darkest one, yeah. Like,
and then their hair just looks like fucking like weird Lego hair. Like it's very weird.
Yeah, like look at Chris Jericho that week he showed up. It's like, well, he went to the aisle and just went and just soaked that shit in his head, like, and that makes you get. We already know you're old. You're making yourself look so much worse. That's why I'm like, it's the worst thing you've been. Same like with Keith Lee. Like again, Keith Lee, you can still wrestle extremely well for a guy who's 38 at your size. Like, who cares if you have gray? Again, this isn't WWE. Like Vince McMahon's not in charge. You'd be like, I don't want you looking old. Damn it. You look like a grandpa. Look at me. I don't look old. You are the crypt keeper. You are death. So how are you going to tell someone that they look old?
Yeah, that recent picture, even though it's from a distance.
Recent picture, him at Mania, he looked awful. We were there watching it.
But the one at the
he was on clotheslines like, come on, Pat, you're stuck under my arm. I can't lift it any higher. Pat, come on.
No, that stunner told me everything I need to know. I was like, yeah, about time for him to go home.
Yeah.
And the whole arena was laughing at you when you got hundreds of thousands of people at the arena or 90,000 people at the arena. Then you got millions around the world laughing. Might be time to go home, pal.
Speaking of people that got to go home, I was telling someone about this yesterday. I know the Full Gear pay-per-view was last night. I don't even want to talk about that. On Rampage,
why not?
They did a segment where Eddie Kingston wanted a match. And he's like, Tony, get out here, Tony. I want you to make the match right now. And Tony Khan comes out. And this Tony Khan guy, he's got to stop.
Mike. This Tony Khan guy. I don't know about this Tony Khan guy, Mike.
If he came out and talked like a normal human being, and was just like, listen, I'm going to give you the match. You want the match? Okay, we're going to give you the match right now. But instead, he's like, you want the match? I'm going to give you the match tomorrow night. Everyone in this crowd, do you want to see this match? And he's like, you're not a hype man. You can't do it. Like, you sound like you're on fucking coke.
Apparently, it's just like a lot of coffee. That's what I've been told. It's
no. My dad.
People think it's drugs.
My dad saw this.
Whatever it is, like, I don't care if he's on fucking Tylenol. Like, it's...
he's popping 20 Tylenol to do promos.
Like,
nah, my dad and
insane.
I saw this in person when we went to Dynamite this year, and he came out to hype up the crowd for Rampage. Like, are you excited for Rampage tonight? We're gonna give you some great match. And he came out again after like another match had already been taped. I'm like, you were just out here, and already like my brain is bleeding. Like, please.
Well, coffee just as bad as cocaine.
And my dad and I'm
like, imagine him trying to like get hyped with like a lady or so. Like, you want to have sex tonight? You want to have the best orgasm of your life? Like,
well, no. This is again like the whole part about how he the public speaking aspect, right? And like again, he's someone who might seem awkward in a social setting speaking publicly, but when you watch him in the scrums backstage or the person, like, yeah, well, even then, but again, it's like that thing, and I have the same thing too. Like, I'm a stutter and mutter and prick like Spider from Goodfellas. Like, I'll trip over words because I'm processing what I'm trying to say while thinking something else at the same time. And Dave Meltzer has kind of the same thing where like you have so much you're trying to say at once, and the knowledge of like correcting what you've said or what someone else had just said, like you'll trip over your own words or and all that. But like him again, he'll just shout, "We're going to show you how to," again, like you said, like so Eddie Kingston has to like
he just shouts everything.
But Eddie Kingston is just as bad too, because what makes Eddie Kingston a good promo is him being like, "Let me tell you, I'm gonna be real with y'all right now. I've been going through struggles and I'm fighting and I'm fighting."
But at least Eddie Kingston, like, He's got the axe. Like there's something to when Eddie Kingston yells.
Oh, here we go.
I'm just saying,
he's
like
New York.
comparing
That's all I'm about to say.
Comparing it to Tony Khan yelling, there's a big difference there because Tony Khan yelling, like, and he's trying to hype the crowd up. He's like, "You want to see this match? Tell me you want to see this match right now." And there's like 5 people left in the crowd because this is a fucking dark match, and just like, I'm like, this man's fucking crazy.
I think that's all it is. It's no drugs. I think legit, from what I've been told, it's just a lot of coffee and him just being one of those kids that's just like hypered all the time. You're like, yo, relax. Like I thought Davis was like that, like a kid that just was hypered as a youngin that just talks a lot. You like, hold on, slow down, kid.
Yeah,
I'm not, is the thing.
Like a tiny Davis, like, I want to play Nintendo right now. You want to play Nintendo? I want to play Super Mario right now.
Like, okay, fucking go get the console. Because I got friends like that I grew up with. It's like, hold on, slow down, brother. You talking too much right now. And even when we was younger, we like the same height. Obviously, I exceeded them in height. But I'll put my hand on top of their head, like, slow down. Just like a pop figure, like slow. But no, it's just because Eddie Kingston too is just he's from New York, so.
Well, that's the thing too. Like to be a good promo, you have to show fire and intensity and passion. Again, so that means you have to scream and yell. And for some people, that is a cheat code, and others it's a detriment. Like Sammy Guevara is a horrible promo, probably the worst promo AEW has, because he'll have to resort to bitch and shit and shut up like he's fucking Vince Russo to get across that he's angry. No, but I'm saying like, but Eddie Kingston.
Look at how old he was, and he's like in his 30s or like late 20s.
Yeah, but Eddie Kingston will more or less kind of do. Again, these fiery promos are like, I want the damn match. When are you going to give me the damn match? And like, it's what, certain people have said what, like, Ric Flair is an overrated promo because it's just him doing the, I'm gonna, and you're not gonna, because, he would go loud all the time, or at least in these big moments, but you forget he would have the quiet moments where I'm talking to you right now. You think you can beat me? You can't. Like
and there's a big difference also because Ric Flair came up in an era where not a lot of TV, you're going town. Well, yes, cocaine, but you're going town to town, so you gotta play the hits because it's like one night you're gonna be in Georgia, next night you're gonna be in Tennessee, like next night you could be in like Alabama, and like that territory's one chance at like the year or whatever to see you do your thing. So you gotta give it to them. That's why you hear like. Some older wrestlers, not so much anymore, because a lot of them have sort of gotten with the times, but certainly in the past 10 years, you've heard a lot of wrestlers of a certain generation be like, no, you can't do things this way. Like, people want to hear the hits. Like, you gotta, repetition, like, and it just doesn't work like that anymore. Because the second it's almost like comedy now. Like, the second you do something and play it out there, it's just out there. Like, you gotta keep giving, you gotta keep doing new stuff.
There you go. Vince said it perfect. He said the key factor in it is just like comedy. Once that moment passes, that joke passes, you got to move on to the next thing and you got to do a different joke. That's one of the reasons why there weren't any scripted promos back then. Because, like, again, you work in the territory, so you got to go from town to town to town 360 days, 350 days a year. So think about that. And then on 3 hours, 2 hours of sleep, too. So if you're a workout guy, that is. If you're not a workout guy, you can probably get a little bit more than that. But the whole point is I got to get this promo out. I got to oversell it because if we don't get any asses in these seats, probably going to starve. And that's why they kept kayfabe up for years.
You know what's fucking wild is every once in a while I'll see something like this pop up on Twitter. And it always, even though I know it, it always shocks me. Where it's a picture of like Arn Anderson from like 1997. They'll be like, did you know that Arn Anderson was like 27 here? It's like, what?
What are you trying to do?
Holy shit.
Why are you doing the Wilford Brimley was howled in Cocoon bit with Arn Anderson? Like,
but they do have Arn. The two examples I always see are Arn Anderson and John Tenta, Earthquake. Because that one's wild, where it's like, oh, he's 27 here. It's like, no way he's 27 there. Then you look it up, and it's like, God damn, he was fucking 27.
But it's like the old ABA players too, and the NBA players that was like Walt Frazier was like 25 when they won the finals. I'm just using that for example.
Well, it looks bad because those guys had like the mutton chops and again the hippie hairstyles of the time. Every guy, the white guys, black guys, like they looked old just because the fashion of that time was like we're gonna have these big beards or fros, or like we're not gonna care about our hair. It's just gonna be like floppy all over the place. Like look at again, like Pat Riley,
and then
as
and that's why when you see a lot of these guys years later, when they're out of the profession and they can like take some time to groom and like style up,
they
look like 20 years younger than they did when they were actually playing. Like, and this happens all the time. Have you noticed like your parents' friends, like when you remember them as kids, like what they looked like when you were a kid, and you're like, wow, they look like parents. And now like as times have changed and like people have styled it, like the quality of people styling up has gone like up overall. You look back at those people and you're like, they looked fucking older 20 years ago.
It's that thing. I've always said that when you're someone who is maybe kind of known, but once you make it big or like your big break and you get super famous, that's when you will then have the like, oh, I gotta start caring about my appearance. Look, like John Krasinski famously on The Office. Oh, he's that dopey kind of looking guy. You know, he has like the boy band haircut, or like, you know, like he looks like he could be a bassist for the Strokes or something. You see him now with like the pomade hair, the pompadour, the beard. He's jacked. Like, you know, he looks like a leading man because now you have to meet the expectation that's been placed upon you as a famous person. You can't just go looking like that's the rest of your life.
He accepted
that role.
Like he was doing the Jack Reacher or whatever.
Yep. Oh no, John. Jack Ryan. There we go.
Are you sure it wasn't who?
Yeah, Jack Ryan.
Tom Cruise was Jack Reacher.
Yeah, and then Alan Richardson is now Jack Reacher on Amazon. That from Blue Mountain State.
Who the fuck is watching Jack Reacher?
I watched the first few episodes. It was pretty good.
Yeah, I did.
Was it?
Yeah.
It's 2
to 3 people in just this one chat have seen Jack Reacher. I guess shame on me then.
I went back and watched the remake, The Quantum Leap, that just recently came out.
Is that any good?
It's all right.
I'm a big fan of the original Quantum Leap, and I saw the trailer for this new one, and I was like,
It's not that bad. It's all right. Of course, it's nothing that's going to beat the original, but it's not that bad. Like, they got Ernie Hudson from Ghostbusters in it.
Yeah.
So it's not that bad. Remember that one show that was like Quantum Leap that came out on NBC a couple years ago, ironically?
Oh. Yeah, I forget what that Timeless, right?
Yeah, I was a big fan of that. But the problem was one season was like 30 episodes. I'm like, hold on, this season.
No, because it had gotten canceled like halfway through it, and then like there was the uproar right after it was canceled. So then they like added 20 more episodes or whatever it was, like finish this season or something like that. Yeah,
it was like the longest season ever. It's like Dragon Ball Z.
You know, the NBC show I just found out is still going on. The Blacklist.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Well, I mean, well, that's the problem with network TV. It's like they have to fill airtime. So like, why not just keep the show going? And I think if I remember years ago, it was like it's easier to keep it's more expensive to cancel a show than to keep it going.
Right.
You have to take down sets. Yeah.
You have to tear the sets down, but then also now you have to invest in a show to replace it. So that means having extra pilots, hiring new cast, like it's a whole big thing. So that's why like people always wonder, like you were saying, you know, when shows sort of slowly die out, they go, oh, well, why are they giving the show a slow death instead of just giving it a graceful killing? And it's like, because it's still making money.
And buying time too, what can we film in the interim to that we'll replace this once the time slot is open and all that. But it's something, like I'm trying to think of what's a network show I've cared about in the last few years. I mean, I don't know if there really is one.
I mean, it's all going to streaming now. Even like stuff that is adjacent to like Peacock stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like you'll see stuff now where it's like instead of it going to NBC or like going right to Showtime or whatever, you'll see like, oh, just buy the app. It's going to be on the app.
Well, that's smart to do the next day. It's on this streaming service if you missed it live, because you're already banking on like live TV is slowly dying out unless it's live sports. And that again, for 10 years, people have been talking about wait till live sports is on a streamer, and it's only Thursday night football and like European soccer, and maybe some of the World Cup games, which start today, will be on streaming service. But even then, it's like only a few.
It's going to get there. Those rights deals have to stop.
Yeah. But again,
it's like years in the making. So,
but these networks also have to realize like what we're going to fill in the interim. Like TNT, that the report this week came out like they're willing to like let the NBA go, which is like, why are you that confident in hockey? Like,
right?
Because no one wanted hockey was the thing. Like you had to build a whole team of analysts and experts to put together to do NHL on TNT, and you just paid how much to keep Ernie Johnson and Charles Barkley and them together? Like,
I think they're keeping the NBA. I don't.
Yeah.
Whoever let that out is like doesn't know what they're talking. Because again, like they did the big extension for those guys. They know when people talk about TNT, one of the very first things they talk about is NBA on TNT.
Mhm.
That's it. Like,
and you
what
already
else-
show that like wrestling was somewhat secondary because they have Rampage and that's still a good look, but they had no problem pushing AEW over to TBS to make that the anchor of the network in a way in terms of like the new content. Like this is what is new that you can watch on this channel, not just reruns of Big Bang Theory and American Dad or whatever, even though that's somewhat new still, but regardless.
Well, because a lot of these networks are you either have to bank on a lot of live programming now or bank on a lot of syndicated content, which is what TBS used to do. For the past 10 years, TBS had this model of, well, it was like something like very... TBS
No, it's not, Jerome. Don't put that comment up. Nope, take that comment down.
All-American Good Network television.
Great show.
It's garbage.
Great
What
show.
show?
All American. You haven't watched it?
Oh, is it the football one?
Yeah, that's a phenomenal show.
That's what they call it.
You ever seen it yet, Ben?
No, I'm not big into like dramatized. Like you got to really hook me with like a dramatized sports show.
Okay,
That's
tap in. Just watch it. You'll see.
Well, no, that's why like Winning Time could have gone so poorly, but since it was so creative and it's like break the fourth wall, the different cinematography aspects, like it'll shift from like found footage type 70s to the HD cameras of today.
Winning Time is fun because they make it fun.
They created it so well and like played with all these different things where like it wasn't just a cut and paste sports show. Like so, and like there was a good amount of basketball action to like get you through it, and they even played that well. Like how it's so over the top and dramatic.
Oh yeah, like that stuff I love. I just don't like when every, especially football shows, when it's like we gotta be like remember the Titans. Like we got
you don't want the rah. We got to overcome the odds.
Yeah. It's like, give me something new. Give me something a little unconventional when it comes to like a football show. You know what could have been good? That show Ballers with The Rock.
Yeah.
That was like a nothing show that lasted like 4 or 5 seasons.
It was
like,
just
I don't know
dialogue.
that watched Ballers.
See,
it's like to HBO this generation what like Arliss was to HBO in the 90s. It's like I don't know a person that watches this.
No, it was trying to be, because it was the same creativity behind it in a way. It was trying to be Entourage, but about sports.
Right.
The thing was though, like they would only have like the big, like Vinny Chase being on a movie set. Their equivalent to that was like shit going on the practice fields. Like they never were having any games on Ballers. It was just all like off-season workout stuff. There was never like John David Washington is in the Super Bowl right now as Ricky Jarrett. Like no, like they were just like, it's all about getting deals and finding a new team, and you got trouble with your woman, and like that's it. That was Ballers. So it was literally just like it was Dwayne Johnson trying to be Ari Gold, which is like Jeremy Piven is again, the allegations against him are horrendous, but like great actor on that show, tremendous performance, even though it's like unbelievably horrible and it was bad at the time in terms of like what he was saying and doing, but like it was just like a great.
It was the shit. It was a horrible show. It was the
shut up.
Entourage is fucking horrible show.
Great show. Oh yeah.
It's a horrible show.
Yeah.
I never watched that. I can't really comment on it.
But the other equivalent to what was somewhat similar was Survivor's Remorse. That tried to do a little bit of that, and that show didn't work as well at trying to be like Entourage, but about basketball.
Oh yeah, I was like, damn, that sounds familiar.
Yeah.
See, I'm out of the loop. I've just been watching a lot of Pluto TV. Like,
no, you're watching the good stuff, like the Lopez show.
No, but
I don't know if the Lopez show be the good stuff. I'm just watching like watching a lot of science.
Wait, you mean the new George Lopez show? Because like I don't know how
the
this
old
man. I don't know how this man has continued to get show after show after show of his name involved.
This man's got a ghost kitchen. He's got Lopez Tacos right now.
No, but I mean it was the George Lopez show, and then he had Lopez Night, the talk show, and then he had like was it just Lopez on like TV Land?
Lopez.
And then now it's Lopez versus Lopez. I'm like,
Lopez.
my God. And I'm like, he's not even doing like the Seinfeld thing where like he's playing. I think Lopez was him trying to do like Curb Your Enthusiasm Seinfeld, like George Lopez as a person, but fictionalized. But like,
that's a long stick. Like I didn't like when that goes back to like the Cosby Show, where it's like it's called the Cosby Show. Why the fuck are you called Cliff Huxtable?
Yeah, but then he has Cosby like later after that, right? And he's not
Cosby in that either.
Yeah, like they were just
that shit was funnier than the Cosby Show to me.
Well, I can't. I mean, I remember watching it, but I can't speak if it was funnier or not than the Cosby. I just remember that I watched a video online of like the behind the scenes of the CBS Cosby Show that was just Cosby, and basically he bought the rights to a show from England, like a lot of people do. That's not something out of the ordinary.
But
then like he didn't like it, so he basically just took the name and was like, we're just going to do our own thing. I don't like how this main character is written to be like a curmudgeon. And then, like, they didn't even use the name. They just ended up using Cosby. And then they gave him a sitcom.
Well, that's what that was going to sell.
He didn't like the wife. And then, like, he brought in Felicia Rashad again just to be his wife. So
this
it was like
does not sound good as well. Like, people should have known then, like, something was up. Like,
that was a weird time because that was when CBS did, it was Cosby, the very first season of Everybody Loves Raymond, and then the very last season of Family Matters, which this is like the 5th fucking podcast I've been on.
To say.
In a month.
You didn't have to bring that show up. I hate that show. And I used to love it as a kid, but it has not aged well.
Can I tell you, I've probably only seen 2 episodes of Family Matters in my life.
That's enough. It got dark as it progressed. Like Eddie getting his ass. Yeah, he got his ass beat by the gangs.
It got way lighter because like he would become more fantastical. Like because it started out. First off, it started out with no Urkel for like the first 10 episodes because it was originally supposed to be like a working class black family in Chicago. Like that was it, and it was supposed to start like the main character was Harriet because she had come over from Perfect Strangers. Then all of a sudden Urkel shows up.
And that's the thing they don't do anymore.
Urkelmania happens. And then like you get to a couple seasons in where like he turns into Stefan Urkel. And then pretty soon after that, you've got like Stefan Urkel becomes his own person. And like Steve Urkel's drinking juice that turns him into fucking Bruce Lee.
Yeah.
And like he's got an Urkel robot that goes crazy. Like it gets insane. He goes to in the final episode, this fucking kid goes to space.
It just lost.
Well, almost like it's like an episode where he goes into space because he wins a contest, and then he goes out of the spaceship to fix something. He's like fixing a satellite or something, and then like something happens, and he ends up like flying away into space on the satellite. And he has to fix it, and then he ends up saving the day because he's Urkel, and then he gets Laura in the final episode. Yes. Rock. So, Rock is a fantastic show with fucking what's his it? Clifton Powell? Is that the guy's name?
Yeah, he's the villain in one episode.
Yeah,
or a couple episodes.
Yeah, he was in a bunch of the episodes as the drug dealer,
the neighbor, and then that's when Rock hemmed him up at the door. I want you out my neighborhood. Like Rock was always mad, and we were talking about
he just wanted a nice neighborhood, and he slammed up against the door because he was like, what do you say? He's like, if you look at me the wrong way, he's like, you better be careful, trash man. You might find one of your family members here in a garbage can. And then he slams him up against the door. And he's like, if you even look at them the wrong way, like I will cut you. Like he was fucking Charles S. Dutton, man.
And he was always pissed off too. Like every single episode, his blood pressure was on 1,000.
He's like, "You get out of my house right now! I want you gone. That's my bottom line." Like, he was intense.
And then the wife was always nervous about something.
Rock, don't go down there. Just leave well enough alone, Rock.
Right, like hold on, they slanging rock in my neighborhood, pun intended. No, I gotta go down there. I never understood why he didn't call 12 though. That was my whole thing.
Been doing a great one person show.
That's how it was. Like the grandfather was just kind of
I'll
like,
cut you. No, you won't. Oh, leave him alone. He's like we can do it.
It became Rock Live, and they used it as a gimmick where like each episode was filmed twice, once for the East Coast live feed and once for the West Coast, and it would be like a play.
Yeah. I think Jamie Foxx was on a couple episodes, right? This is like when he first started, or Martin Lawrence.
I don't know. I remember there was one of Kelsey Grammer when he was in between Cheers and Frasier.
Yeah.
Tone Loc was a recurring character.
Yeah, he was.
He was the one who would come out and be like, yo, I could take care of your drug problem for you. Like, he wanted to just beat up the drug dealers.
Yeah, then every time Rock would be like, no, that's not how we're going to handle things.
Do this. I'm going to run for city council. That's how we're going to fix this.
Like, no, I think you might want to call. Like, I don't understand. Just call the police at this point, bro. Just call the police.
Something. Like, I get the police, but like, do something.
Yeah, like, you can't keep hamming him up. Eventually, he going to cut you. I was waiting for that, too, even when I was a kid. I was like, yeah, he going to get shanked eventually.
But then eventually, like, he did kind of come around to Rock. Remember, like, he actually had, like, a whole arc. Because there was that episode where he confronts him in the bar, and he gives him the whole speech where he's like, you know,
I ain't have no choice.
He's like, if you start repenting right now, you may just be able to reserve yourself a nice, cool spot in hell. And it's like, oh, Rock.
And Rock can hit people with punch. Look, David, he'll hit people with like the greatest punchlines ever.
Such a well-written show. And then fucking the drug dealer there was a kid who shot someone because he wanted to be like Andre. That was Andre Thompson. He wanted to be like Andre, and then Andre like visits him when he's about to go to jail. And he's like, you don't want to be like me. I got a bullet in my lung, and I go out and I wake up every day not knowing if I'm going to get shot by one of my friends or my enemies.
And then Rock always, like, when he got to have these moments, especially with kids, he just does this. Like, he intimidating the kid. Like, dog, you scared the child when you try to give him a message.
Yeah, he's like shaking him. Like,
is this what you want your life to be?
Huh? I don't want to see you outside no more.
Right. Like, hold on, bro. This ain't gonna help me by you fucking taking the air on my lungs, hemming me up. Like, he's not a little, like, Rock the actor is not a little dude, all right?
No.
Like, he's a fucking former football player, if I'm not mistaken. He's like 250, like, hemming people up. Like, hold on, bro. But he's a thespian. Like, I remember he
showed up in The Sopranos too.
Yeah.
He was the cop until he got kicked off the force, and then ended up working at Fountains of Wayne.
And he was in Low Down Dirty Shame.
Yeah.
With Damon. Was it Damon? It was Keenan. With Keenan. Yeah, he was in that as well. He played the villain. Watch Rock. That's on Pluto, right?
Yeah. Or maybe. I don't know. I was watching stuff on YouTube of it. But, like, yeah, he lived with his dad and his brother.
Yeah.
It would be like, hey, his brother Joey would always be like, rolling his sleeves up like, I think I'm going to take care of this for you, Rock. I'm going to go down there. Be like, no, Joe, you take Pops, you go upstairs. I'm going to go down to the bar and handle this myself.
Like no, I think you need some backup.
Against the wall. Like,
and this show isn't like The Equalizer or anything. Like, he's not like...
Damn.
No, it's good. Can you pull up, if I give you the clip of him...
No, we can't pull any clips because they'll take him down. No.
Okay.
No.
Even this show, I just thought about that. This show actually don't have a distributor.
Like I don't think you're gonna get popped for playing Rock.
No, because this is a whole John Cena clip, and we got the copyright. And I'm like,
but that's because that's the E.
Yeah, but you knew damn well that was gonna happen, so you did it anyway.
Yeah, that's the E. But I think with Rock, we might be fine.
No.
But
you want me to send you the clip?
Yeah.
Okay.
I might have to just like mix it in somehow. Was better than Family Matters as well.
Cousin Skeeter.
We can
pop it.
Yeah, I used to watch Cousin Skeeter, yeah, but again, the dad from Cousin Skeeter is the dad on Raven.
Yeah. Why did you send me that yesterday? Like, he randomly sent me the clip from that new That's So Raven. I'm
because
like,
I was like, because of him, like, because one, everyone says he looks like, what was it? Michael. No.
Without facial hair.
No, the cop who was doing the good job, Michael Dorner, right? Or did everyone say like the dad from That's a Raven did the right thing when he killed all those cops as a fellow cop? You don't remember that?
No.
Who's the California cop that?
Oh, Christopher Donner. Oh, okay, yeah.
It is Christopher Donner.
Yeah.
I thought it is. So Christopher Donner. Yeah, like everyone said, like the dad from That's So Raven looked like him. Remember they were saying like Raven's dad went fucking crazy, like.
You're right, but we won't risk it, Sean.
Yeah, but I just remember
I just sent you the clip. You could start.
Don't play the clip. No,
I won't. But TV One might get upset because TV One is like the last distributor for a rock show. But you're right.
But I sent you that clip because, again, the mom just left the show. I forgot what the reason was. Like she had some internship or whatever. Like she left, and then
Raven.
Yeah, and then Raven ends, and then they do Corey in the house. Like the dad gets the chance to cook for the president.
That's
even
right.
Even though I never watched. Yeah, even though I never watched much of Corey in the House, that's when I started to phase out of Disney Channel. But then they do Raven as a mom now, like so her dad's on the show, and then now the mom comes back and again, like, oh, they should like, where have you been? Like, are we even married? Like
Skeeter, because that show was a fucking puppet that everyone treated like a human.
I enjoy stuff like that. You gotta sell it.
And had that like sexy theme song where it's like, ooh, Skeeter. Like,
yeah, it did.
Cause I like you, Skeeter, like that.
And they had the mace outfit. Yeah, more money, more profit.
And even then, like what the big Nickelodeon movie of that was like Cousin Skeeter in space. Like they were fighting aliens, if I'm not mistaken.
And because that was around the time where they had a lot of high concept. It was that 101 Good Deeds for Eddie McDowell, where like his best friend was a fucking dog that had to do good deeds to become a human again.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
What was the other fucking weird? No, this was TGIF. This was I was talking about this on Public Enemies. Yes, that was 702 because it was a take on Skee-Lo, which was their song.
Yep.
So it was Skee-Lo to Skeeter.
I'm old, Van is not, but he still knows his stuff.
But this is late 90s. But TGIF had a show. I was talking about this on Public Enemies called yes, the Muppets do exist now in reality. Called Brothers Keeper. No, that's a different show. Teen Angel.
Yeah.
Teen Angel was the show. Do you remember what Teen Angel was?
Yeah. Wasn't it on the WB as well?
No. This was a show on TGIF where it was two best friends and one of them finds a burger under the friend's bed that he forgot there and dares him to eat it. And he eats it, dies in the first episode, then comes back to the best friend as his guardian angel, and in order to get into heaven has to help him do like good deeds and shit.
Okay, I do remember this now. Because on ABC TGI's lineup, they
always had that one slot that they couldn't fill, so that they kept like adding new shows because it just didn't work. Like they had their Boy Meets World that was set in stone for like 10 years. They had Family Matters. Step by Step was there for a while, but there was always that like one slot where they couldn't quite get it working until I guess like Sabrina came along.
Because remember they had Two of a Kind as well.
I don't remember Two of a Kind.
I barely remember it. The Hughleys was on there like in the late 90s. So 99 to 2000 was on there. But yeah, I remember Family Matters used to run this course on there, Full House and all that. That's how I used to always see it in Sabrina the Teenage Witch. Because I swear I thought
I used to
Sabrina was on WB.
Again, Boy Meets World was my show. So then when Sabrina the Teenage Witch came on, I fell in love instantly. Like Melissa Joan Hart at that time as well. Like
Melissa whoever played her friend on that show, I thought was hot.
And then there was the episode to cross over with her film Drive Me Crazy that Britney Spears shows up. Again, with Vinny Chase, Adrian Grenier, like, but yeah, no, like Sabrina the Teenage Witch, yeah, and Nick McKay. My mom loved Nick McKay, and he was the voice of Salem, of course. And he was in that then if you remember that Seinfeld episode where like she won't see the English patient, or she sees it and hates it, and everyone's like, I can't be with someone who hates the English patient, like. Because it's like, this movie is not that good. And it's one of those Larry David things I can assume where he was just like, why is everyone talking about this movie? It was all right, you know. Yeah.
So I'm glad like prestige movies are.
Of course, that explains why I see. Yeah, that was Well, that's the thing about the Oscars this year. Like, I mean, what it'll be Elvis.
I'm sorry, that Elvis movie sucked.
Well, you're talking to its #1 fan right here.
I liked it.
I just didn't like the guy who played Elvis because I don't know.
Because he's a fucking talentless hack. That's why.
A talentless hack is
who Hollywood has been trying to get going for 10 fucking years, maybe even longer.
I don't want to say what he looked like doing Elvis, but he didn't come off as Elvis to me.
No, not at all. That's why when it was down to like him and Harry Styles, there's like, could you not have found better choices? Like,
if you want to see a good biopic, the best one I've seen, music biopic in the past, I would say 5 to 10 years. Love and Mercy.
I knew you were going to say that. Yeah,
it's so good because a lot of what these biopics do now is they do just what like Elvis did, Bohemian Rhapsody. Like they're very conventional.
Well, Bohemian Rhapsody is the worst biopic.
It's the worst offender. Ever. But it's like they have this formula of basically like the greatest hits of this band, and a lot of them coast by on just the music. But like Love and Mercy did a cool thing where it switches back and forth between Brian Wilson from a very specific period in the late 60s and a very specific period in the mid 80s. And
however,
sort of juxtaposes them together, and it's really good.
I've never seen it, but however, Paul Dano becoming John Cusack does not work at all. They look nothing alike.
It absolutely does, though. I'm a big Beach Boys fan, so full disclosure, but not that it needs a full disclosure. But John Cusack nails that era of Brian Wilson because he was like crazy and on drugs and had like a weird handler that was controlling his life. So like he was fucked up. And John Cusack he does the cool thing where he doesn't look exactly like him, but he nails the mannerisms, the voice, everything else. And I always appreciate that much more than just, hey, we got a guy who looks like the guy. And
that's why again biopics are the way they are. But I mean, like to cast Paul Dano and then expect Paul Dano to age into John Cusack doesn't work in, like I said, the visual context. Like he obviously, like you said, is given a great performance as Brian Wilson at that time period, which is probably why they cast him. But in terms of like, no way do I believe that this guy ages into that guy. Like what they had tried again, Banks, like what we talked about with I mentioned Looper the other day, but like you mean that Joseph Gordon-Levitt is supposed to become Bruce Willis even with all these prosthetics? He would look like Wayne Newton when he ages. Like
even the movie knows that because there's that one scene where they're in the diner where he's asking all the questions, and Bruce Willis is like, "Listen, we're here right now. We just got to deal with this. If you're asking questions, we're going to be here all day."
Well, there's recently so what happens to me? Like, listen, you're gonna live a shitty life, do a bunch of bad fucking things. And there's gonna be a woman who's gonna fucking take pity on you. She's gonna fucking save you, and then you're gonna lose that woman. Like, and that's why I'm here. Like,
and that's how Bruce Willis is looking throughout the whole movie. Or no, Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
No, Joseph I gotta fix it. I'll fix it. All right.
He looked like Bruce Willis in the Die Hard video games on the PS1.
He's got the pixel jaw.
Yes. Like how Max Payne looks.
He doesn't even try to do like, hey, I'm Bruce Willis. I'm gonna kind of talk like this. Yeah.
No, he just talks like Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Yeah, which is like again like, I know that's because Rian Johnson and Joseph Gordon-Levitt had a prior working relationship, but still, it's like you like pick someone else that you could expect Joseph Gordon-Levitt to age into. I'm trying to think of what would have been some of the best. I think Banks and I might have talked about this before. Like actors that the young version looked exactly like the older version.
Emil Hirsch looked like a lot of actors. That's all I can think of right now.
But I'm drawing a blank right now. It's just like what's in the immediate one. But yeah, the biopic, at least they have to do like when they made this song, and that's why Bohemian Rhapsody is just awful because like it's literally showing you how they made "We Will Rock You." It's like, oh, he's late to band practice. What if we just fucked around a little bit? He shows up like, oh, that's a nice tune you got there. Maybe I can add to it, like and it's horrible. Whereas like something like "Walk the Line,"
Walk the Line was better.
Yeah, but then it creates Dewey Cox with the before he plays, he's got to think about every moment in his life that led to this moment. Like,
well, speaking of that, you know what was good? Did you see the Weird Al one?
No.
That was really good. It's basically a parody of.
Yeah, and I have to say, like, see, with something like have you been watching this Hero Ball that Bleacher Report is doing on YouTube? They're like anime version of like an NBA of the NBA. It's actually pretty cool. It's like Jason Tatum is dressed up in the Saiyan armor to fight Joel Embiid, and then
I've seen those. Yeah,
it's actually really cool, and like that is like how you do parody and satire perfectly. Like, you know, same thing with Black Dynamite. Like, you are aware of what you are doing, and that's a parody of like all the blaxploitation movies of like the boom mics in one shot and they cut and it's out of there, or like he hits one guy, it doesn't go, he's like, oh, you fucked it up, James, or whatever. And then that recut, then they re-edit the new one in, and like he legit like takes the punch this time. Like, parodies work extremely well in or commentaries on films. Like, that's why something like Cabin in the Woods is a great horror film, because it is aware of what it is trying to do with horror tropes, like the jock, the nerd, the virgin, the hot girl, the stoner, etc., and all that. It's commentating on itself and what happens if there was like a corporation controlling horror for an alternate reason or whatever. But I know like the whole no, that's just like, what's the least amount of money you can spend to make these films? And all of them are bad, with the exception of like 6 or 7.
Well, what's worse, like the Blumhouse movies that don't hit, or what was the name of it? Platinum Dunes, the Michael Bay company that did.
Well, that's to be like big and commercial on purpose versus like small and cheap and hope it hits. One's like, this is going to be a garbage movie, but it's like, it's going to give you what you want, which is blood and guts and gore. Blumhouse is like, this might be too cheap and not artistic enough, or it hits what it's supposed to be. And I'm not talking like the ones like the big ones like Get Out or anything that have co-productions with them. I mean, like, they've had a good working relationship with Christopher Landon, who did Happy Death Day and Happy Death Day to You, and Freaky, which was good. And he's, I think, someone who understands horror comedy well. But even then, those are somewhat more commercial because it's sort of throwback to get to like that hijinks comedy that you don't get as often. But it's tough to say. But like, I mean, when you see like a Blumhouse horror movie and then like a major studio horror movie, like that movie Smile, again, like that's the equivalent of like what a Platinum Dunes film would be. Then like that was a good comparison. Like, do you want something that's big and commercial that like is trying to sell you, or like something that's might be a sleeper hit?
Right.
Like, I don't really care much about horror and that to like argue if like was Platinum Dunes smart by doing like chat says like Texas Chainsaw or the Friday the 13th remake and all the like the. I think they might have done the Freddy one too that had Jackie Earle Haley as Freddy Krueger. Like,
yeah, that one was not great. The best of those was probably the Amityville Horror one with Ryan Reynolds.
I remember being too scared. My mom was watching that one, and I was too scared to like be in the house like when she was watching it.
That's like me and Thriller. When Thriller used to come on, I used to leave the crib.
Really?
Yellow eyes would freak you out.
The whole thing, I used to run out like fucking Kevin from Home Alone. Yeah. My mom was like, dude, it's not that bad. My pops made me actually sit down and watch it one day. He was like, all right, he did the whole, you gonna be a man thing and watch this. I'm losing my goddamn mind.
You watch Thriller.
Like when he cries him in The Godfather. I don't know what we're gonna do. You can act like a man.
Like a man. I would be more afraid of fucking Remember the Time when people like turn into sand and shit.
No, because it's like, yeah, like
people off to the galley.
They're all there in their Egyptian garb, and like he's just there, like, do you remember? Like
the Magic Johnson was in that.
Yeah, and he's like.
Tiny Lister was in that. Like, that was a wild cast. Eddie Murphy.
And I was little and I recognized all them people. I was like, damn.
John Singleton directed it, yeah.
Yeah.
And the reason why we got that is because he pitched the idea to Steven Spielberg about doing an Egyptian movie.
And Steven Spielberg's the racist, as we know.
Well, that's why we got Color Purple, but that's neither here nor there.
Then you and I have talked about before, like the going to the theater and seeing a movie in the multiplex and saving cinema. That's what makes the movies great. Seeing them in the theater. You gotta see. You can't sit on your couch and you gotta go see.
It's like a David Lynch video where he's like, you can't watch a movie on your fucking iPhone.
First of all, David Lynch, you were making TV shows as you were making movies. Like you already were selling out halfway through in your career. Like we were leaving the big screen for the small screen because the story's too big to tell for a movie. You gotta, the hypocrites of like, oh, I'm only like, even Tarantino's not like I'll direct a miniseries, but he's like, there's more story to tell here. I can't, they won't let me do a 4-hour movie. If I try, they'll get pissed. Like, blah, 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 like all that. And he's like, and I do respect TV and all that, but with this movie, The Fabelmans by Steven Spielberg, which is supposed to be like a fictionalized version of his life, the critics are like his most personal film to date, and I'm like, no fucking shit. He's telling his life story, and you mean it's his most personal film yet? You mean A Color Purple wasn't the most personal film? I wonder why. Or like, you mean he couldn't relate to Amistad? Like,
you mean Lincoln was not based on his life? Like,
yeah,
probably was.
That fucking weird ass war horse, whatever that was.
Yeah, Rin Tin Tin, like.
Y'all keep going because I got a bad.
No, because it's like they gotta bow down to the king, but it's like, what's the best movie he's made?
He ain't been the king since Minority Report.
Yeah, he hasn't been great in a while. All his films look plastic now. He's like,
and that's what he's.
He's very uncreative.
Like he's not even a draw. He hasn't been a draw in years. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Davis.
No, you're right. Like I saw Ready Player One. It was all right. I enjoyed it. Again, it had that Spielberg moment where, like at the end, like he punches his fist in the air with a crowd of people cheering him because they saved the day. I'm like, I know who directed this movie. Like,
Spielberg, well, no, he did direct it. He probably had very little to actually direct because most of that movie is just CG.
Well, even though
also to all the rights we knew it was Steven Spielberg. You got fucking Chucky and the Iron Giant following somebody or chasing somebody.
I hated what they did to the Iron Giant.
Well, that's the other thing. Like,
it's robot, you can't have him fight.
But
he's fighting
in his grave right now.
Well, he's fighting in the WB game that's on Xbox.
That's right. He's in Multiverse too. Yeah. Like,
great game.
Come on, don't make the Iron Giant fight. Like,
he did fight when he was provoked. Like,
he fight for family.
It was like Dalton Roadhouse. There's a time to be nice and a time not to be nice. Like when they shot at him, he was like, "All right."
Listen, don't quote Roadhouse. He's the wrong WrassleRap host to be quoted.
I want to talk to Amelia Sparks one day about Roadhouse, but he thinks I'm an actor, so I can't.
He thinks you're not.
And he did invite you onto the show, but that's neither here nor there. Yes, he did. Off air.
We should do a whole episode of WrassleRap where you're on cam with us, and you're jumping in on conversation, and he's just ignoring you.
He did that anyway on VRP.
He was like, "Why is this a fold out talking to me?"
No, I would say something like, where's that voice coming from? It's not even like I'm a too white joke. He can't see me. It's just like I don't exist. It's like that movie The Invisible, where like only they can hear me, but they can't see me. Like
that was a good movie that came out during the pandemic, The Invincible Man.
Oh yeah, The Invisible. That was like right at the start of it.
Yeah. That was actually a good movie. That shouldn't have got nominated like Bad Boys.
Well, see, that's a Blumhouse movie. Again, that's a Blumhouse movie that like it has IP behind it. So like you can't count that in just like the cheap movies that like they'll put on Peacock because like The Invisible Man has existed in Universal for years.
Besides being like Halloween Ends.
No, because even then that has the IP of Halloween behind it.
Garbage fucking.
Yeah, it is. Me and Cal talked about this on Black Wrestling Podcast Club about like how I said those films were just horrendous. And again, we gotta have social commentary in our Halloween films and do what you want. You're the writer.
Not even the social commentary, but you could have social commentary. They just sucked. They were
well, no, that's what I'm saying. But like they were. It's like like I mean, David Gordon Green, Pineapple Express is good. Like it's a great comedy. Like, but I'm not like lauding his directorial style and all that. But like. What made this man think like, and now he's gonna do The Exorcist? It's like, I don't think you're not that guy, pal. You're not that guy. Like
the best Halloween movies to come out in the past 20, let's say 30 years and be charitable, were the two Rob Zombie movies. I know some people shit on them. They did more to advance that franchise than any Halloween movie in the past 30 years. You can say you don't like them, but you cannot ignore that they at least did something with the IP.
Yeah.
I only saw. Oh, go ahead, Banks.
No. I'm just responding to what Ben and Sean Roberts said. Yeah, because now they always try to find reasons to get heat with him. Because now they upset about the monsters, about that TV show. And it's like, all right, bro. Yeah, that's supposed to be a parody. I don't know. Y'all thought that he was gonna be gory with the monsters. Huh?
Yeah, no, he's the biggest Monsters fan. He owns a Dragula. Like, he wrote it's in the fucking name of his biggest hit. Like, he's always been a huge fan of the Monsters, and he wanted to make like a family friendly like movie that everyone could see the monsters in. Like,
and what's it supposed to be?
Oh, yeah, exactly. Like you know what movie I thought was actually, I'm not gonna say it was like the greatest movie in the world, but that I saw in the theater when it came out, and I was actually pleasantly surprised at like how reverent it was that Three Stooges movie.
Yeah.
Wow.
No, I saw it as well. I didn't see the theater, but I saw it.
Me and my friend, I remember my friend Mike, we were shocked in the theater at like how much we laughed at it. And we're like, oh, this is interesting. Like, because they broke it up into 3 smaller sections as if you were watching like old Three Stooges shorts. And they were kind of like their own thing, but they were connected. It was actually not bad. And like Larry David shows up in it. Like, now the Jersey Shore cast shows up in it as well. So
that's
whatever.
That's what's weird at comedy movies at that time, especially those Sandler movies. It's like That's My Boy, where like he brought in Vanilla Ice to be like Vanilla Ice, and he cast Rex Ryan as a character, but like he's in love with Tom Brady. That's Adam Sandler's thing. Like he put Stan Patrick in his numerous movies. Yeah. He's put Shaq in numerous movies. That's kind of like his cheat code.
That goes back to even like, remember in Austin Powers Goldmember, which is a sentence I didn't think I would say when I woke up this morning. When the fucking Osbournes show up. And that reference was like 5 years out of date then.
Yeah.
Because remember the Three Stooges movie? Three Stooges movie. That was in development.
Version of the Three Stooges.
Well, you know,
I was so
got the cast in my head right now. Hey, yo, Mo. I ain't gonna do it. Never mind. No, but I ain't gonna do it. Shorty, look at me. Ooh, Shorty just hit me. No, I remember that movie was in development hell for years.
So, yeah, because they wanted like Jim Carrey was gonna be in it.
It was supposed to be. I think, if I'm not mistaken, it was Benicio del Toro, Jim Carrey, and fucking Sean Penn. If I'm not mistaken,
Sean Penn. Then they went with a different Sean.
You couldn't have picked. Oh, Sean Hayes. Yeah, you couldn't have picked 3 worst people to have on a set. One being Sean Penn, who just like a fucking crazy person in terms of like intensity. And then Jim Carrey, who is going to go like so method because he takes himself so seriously as a guy who's supposed to be a comedian. And then Benicio del Toro, who just wants to do what he wants to do. And not give a fuck what the script says. And they ended
up with Sean Hayes. I forget the other
Will
guy.
Sasso, and then Chris Stephanopoulos or something like that. Yeah.
Very inspired choice. Like, that's pretty good. Like,
that was on brand.
It was curly.
Yeah, I think Chris Stephanopoulos or something like that, who was good on Silicon Valley as Russ. I think was it Russ Meyer or whatever the dude.
Yeah,
the guy
he played Mo, and he was a good Mo. Like, they were all.
He was good. I think I saw the first 3 seasons of Silicon Valley, but he was good as the guy who put radio on the internet. That's how he made his millions. Like, it's just like a great, again, the satire of like tech guys with that was brilliant. Like, I put radio on the internet, and that's how like he still has his millions or whatever. Like,
I'll tell you what, like those guys are the smartest. Those guys are the real smartest guys in the room. The ones like Tom from MySpace, that they're like, I've got my moment. That moment is about to run out, and I'm gonna take all the money and just go away. I'm not going to stick around for that.
Well, that's the one thing about Twitter, right? Like,
or like,
no, like that's the one. Like, so what does Jack Dorsey do now?
I'm sure he's just sitting around watching the whatever trash fire is going on. And I don't think Twitter is going to die. I think people are like way blowing.
No. It'll keep. It'll just be like it'll be taped up and bandaged, and
it's going to be weird for a little while they're getting things up. But like, I heard some like conflicting thing where it's like one of the things like people are shitting on Twitter right now, but it's also got like the most users it's ever had in its life because people are interested in it right now. And it's like,
I also do think this is what sucks about being a wrestling fan and everything being a work mindset. I think he started an uproar now just
to get the hype.
Yeah, and then not to completely fix it later on, but like it'll still be running like you're saying. Some things might change, but like his thing was like to buy it and make a huge shock because he's this guy, Elon Musk, dictator, billionaire. Again, what a Bond villain is on paper.
It's not going to go away because if it doesn't work under Elon Musk, he's going to sell it to someone who wants to make it work.
Yes.
It's such a big platform. It's not going away. This idea that like, people are going to migrate to Parlor,
Mastodon. I'm like, is this the fucking Power Rangers? Mastodon. Like, come on, like,
yeah, Mastodon, or like we're all gonna go back to FetLife. Like, no, it's not.
Yeah, but no, I mean, it was funny for everyone to be like, "Oh my god, it's dying," but then and this man has been saying it's been dying for.
Well, Banks just doesn't do social media.
Well, no, that's good. No. He brought a Twitter back, and within, I'm like, all right, I got 4 days until this shit's gone. 6 or 7 days.
You talking about my personal Twitter?
Yeah, 6 or 7 days later, it was already this count has been removed, and I'm like, oh.
Every 4 to 6 months, I get a new follow, and I'm like, was Banks not following me before? I'm like, no, it's just a new Banks account.
Yeah. Well, it's the Bank Show.
Back, baby. Until they put all the porn back on Tumblr, it will never be back.
I keep hearing it's coming back though.
I don't want to use multiple platforms. This thing. I don't want to bounce from one to another. Like
Tumblr. I did not like Tumblr when I was on it.
I didn't mind it when I was on when it was like in its down period because I was. But it's like I don't want to have to like. That's what was so bad about like Discord. I was like, we're gonna say the same stuff here and then say it on Twitter. Like I'll just get out of here. Like.
Well, I like Discord because that's more like a curated, like all your friends are on Discord, where it's like, hey, let's get together on Friday night and like do a watch party and like we'll all watch a movie together on Discord. Like it's really good for that kind of stuff. Like I have a Discord server that like has some people on it. It's got like 20 or 30 people on it.
Yeah, no, works if you legit want to like, and that's what I guess they're trying to do with Twitter circles in a bit. But like, it's tough. Like.
It is the porn. No, the porn is not back. Okay, that's a misconception because that came out like a week and a half ago.
So Van and Eve lied. Like
yes, because they changed their terms of service to say that we now allow nudity. But if you look a little, and people clipped that part and spread that all around Twitter, be like, "Hey guys, the porn is back." But if you actually read their terms of service, what they're specifically talking about is if you put like a piece of art up that has like nudity, like you can do that, but they make it very clear that
like, shit,
right, like they even say in it something to the effect of like, we like pornography is still not allowed on our platform.
It's art to me.
Like they specifically call that, like they specifically specify like, hey, we're still not opening the floodgates to pornography, so it's not back. I know some people just jumped there because they heard that porn is back. Porn is not back. You're gonna find that out real quick.
Porn is not back.
Yeah, breaking news. Porn is not back.
Don't.
Still gotta go to.
Send it to me.
I'll say. Look, listen, Zell, I love you. I don't doubt that there's porn on Tumblr right now. I'm just saying that like the floodgate, like how it used to be. You fucking know how Tumblr used to be. It's not that anymore.
That's the name of the episode. You know how it used to be.
Yeah, no, thanks.
You fucking kids know how it used to be. Like I feel like Rock slamming someone.
Oh my god!
He
knows how it used to be because he had to buy the He had to get the magazines to
find his porn in the woods and like a fucking stone.
He had to wait till his dad left the house to get the magazine. Yeah.
I'd be like, "This is the end." I just went back and watched that movie. This is the end. And he was like, "Who fucking still has porn magazine?" James Franco. I still love that movie. I went to
and that should have been a warning then as well. Like
that used to be wild. When you go to the deli or the wherever you get your magazines.
The deli.
No, for real.
Yeah, like you go to the deli, there'd be a section off to the side where
I follow.
Send all that to me, Zell. Zell just snitched on himself too at this point. I gotta stop putting this on the screen. Like, all right, bro.
But yeah, like you remember when you see the point and you would get like your Hustlers and your Playboys, but then like it felt like every month there was like some new fringe magazine where it would just be like Big Jugs or like Hot Taint magazine. It's like, what the fuck is this?
No, I remember about that.
Like, did you get the new issue of Hot Tuna? It's like, what are you talking about? Like,
I almost snitched on him, God rest his soul. But I remember my pops, right? He had a magazine in his workout room, which is like in the back of the house or whatever, like the garage. I'm tripping. And I remember he had the bench press machine right here. And then the magazines, he didn't really hide them. Honest to God, true right-handed God, I wouldn't lie on them. And the magazines was kind of tucked in this box. It's comic books and the magazines. And I reached my hand in there and I saw the magazine and all I seen something was like a fucking cockatoo on the cover. And I'm like, what the fuck is this coming out this lady? I was like, I think he kind of just don't sold me. He was like, no, that's nothing. Little did I know. That was the gateway to life, people.
Look at
cockatoo's mouth.
Like, what is this? Like,
that's what I thought. I was like, yo, why is this pink thing doing this to me? God bless you. So anyhow, if y'all want to know why I'm like the way I am, there you go.
And that's how we're gonna end this week's episode.
The cockatoo.
Yeah, I don't think we can go any further after that.
I mean, he wanted to get a little pump and pump.
Yeah, exactly. Big Pump probably does that too.
Yeah, I'm pumping my biceps and I'm pumping my
for all my freaks.
Right.
Give me the fucking mic.
That's where the vein came from out his arm.
Oh, Joe.
Shouts out to King Magazine and Melissa Ford. If anybody in the chat says anything, I know something wrong with y'all. Y'all better not.
No. Everyone heard BRP on Thursday night with you can't last 10 seconds playing this game. You know, like we're all deviants, we're all demons, heathens, hell dwellers. You know,
where it's like you think you could last 10 seconds. I'm sitting there like, yeah, what are you talking?
The fact that I know that I need help.
No, we all do. That's the thing. We all know it.
Yeah.
I know it. You know it.
Rejected. You know, I don't know too much in life.
That's a damn lie. But Ben, thank you for joining us this week. Where can people find you on social media and podcasts?
People can find me on Twitter at mightyvin, over on Instagram at vinfortenyc. You can follow WrassleRap over at WrassleRap over on Twitter and Instagram respectively. You can catch Oddball, which is a sports podcast I do. That is wherever you get your podcast, but you can follow on Twitter at Oddball Podcast, like we talked about at the start. Got a great episode up this week. Just dropped about MTV's Rockin' Jock B-Ball Jam. That was a really fun one, so you don't want to miss that. And also, an interesting episode of WrassleRap this week. Did a Grap Wrestling, because we had Ilfam from Black Wrestling and Phil Lindsay from Grapsity. Why are you laughing, Davis?
Because this man's laughing at me. Did you just point to me? I'm like,
because he can't no sell without selling. That's the problem with him. Like I'll be looking at his face like
that'll be interesting to see brought up on Black Wrestling this week. But that's great. Those guys are both great in their own right, and they're great together. And it's a great episode. So you should check that out. So go check out Black Wrestling Patreon, Bulls in the China Shop, something I do periodically there with Mike Sempervive of Wrestling Observer Live.
The last one is an instant classic.
You should definitely check out the last episode.
Is that how we got Cal?
Yes. Cal.
That clip, Cal.
That clip of Math be like, Cal.
That shit is fucking hilarious.
We were showing Math videos that he had never heard of, never seen before.
That's the problem with Bulls in the China Shop, is that you and Simp have your own deep knowledge and archive of like, what the fuck is this? It's so obscure and ancient.
And like in top of the head.
Like I showed Math the Ninja Turtles getting interviewed by Barbara Walters.
Brother, dog. I won't give too much away. Y'all sign up for the Patreon, but that it's only $1 or pay the $10. But that dog part, That dog video.
Oh yeah.
Hysterics when Simp got up.
Well, Simp's great. I love Mike Sempervive.
I love watching Wrestling Manager live just to see the banter between Simp and Alvarez at this point. It literally is like the odd couple.
There's no banter at all because it's Brian doing his thing, and then when he lets Simp speak.
But even when they do like have a back and forth, it's great. Like, oh, you're gonna talk about your super followers. I will talk about my super followers. Thank you, Mike. Yes, shout out to them. They are great people and doing good work. And so blowing out your ass type shit.
I knew Mike Sempervive was something special when I first saw him on an episode of Black Wrestling, and you guys are just talking about something, and he just very clearly takes a bong rip.
No, that was this year. That was this year with it was after we had left this show when Simp had joined us to then do the live impromptu Black Wrestling because the Dakota Kai, Stokely Hathaway, and Dexter Lumis releases have happened. We show up, and then after Cal asked Simp who's the best out of Griselda, Simp's just like that story that the Young Bucks would tell about Jimmy Jacobs and Tyler Black, where like they had to set up this match, and then the Young
Hold on, Banks. Why are you like befuddled right now?
Because
no, he made a like every TNA paper, like there's countless TNA pay-per-views where Alvarez like, this is horrible. Like
5 stars.
Yeah, mine's for the famous Sharmell Jenna Morasco match, like -5 stars.
Because I respect Brian.
It's always great because
You're right, because it would be a lot of So we watched this TNA pay-per-view, right?
Yeah, it's what's great is like, and then this happens. Like
he'll start slow. He'll do the loud. He's like the Pixies. He'll do the loud, quiet, loud thing. Where he'll be like, so this show starts off. Had a good Christopher Daniels match.
Yeah,
and, then it was Sharmell and Jenna Morasco. Like,
yeah, that's why I like watching the show because then you see Simp either like because Simp also has good facial reaction. Just like,
yeah,
when he does like, so Bad Influence faced AJ Styles and Kurt Angle. They have a hell of a match. You know, it's 4 great workers. They can never go wrong. And next up, we get Winter versus Victoria, or Tara, I should say, as she's known.
That's MO is like, it'd be like, so Borash did this interview backstage. And, it was actually a pretty good segment. And then right after, they did the reverse battle royal.
The best is like when Jeff Jarrett filmed a segment with like him and Karen Jarrett, like the kids at the amusement park, and Brian Alvarez's commentary the whole time is like, you know what, this Jeff Jarrett, he's a great father. He's a fun guy to be around. He's taking the kids to the amusement parks. He's having fun, getting wet on the rides, and she's just having the worst time ever. It's like this man's a great father. It's an amazing segment if you can find it.
I'll give credit where it's due though. That version of Jeff Jarrett in TNA was maybe the best version of because he was fighting little kids. Remember, he was doing like Taekwondo and like fighting.
No, yeah, he was the martial arts master, Jeff Jarrett, right? Like the mixed martial artist, Jeff Jarrett, because like he started using the ankle lock. That was the second feud of Kurt Angle. Because now
the ankle lock on like little kids, like
he brought in like MMA gloves and fight shorts. Yeah, like he was
great TV. I don't like all the sarcasm coming from everybody, even Brian. I know he'll never hear this, but I don't like the sarcasm. Victory Road, by the way, 3 out of 5 stars. Pay-per-view, Victory Road 2011.
Banks, where can people find you on podcasts and social media?
At TNA, all right, at Impact Wrestling. That's where you can find me at.
Imagine Brian Alvarez hears. I know what's going to happen when he hears this episode. He's just going to be like, so I heard that Banks versus Davis podcast.
Well, no, I don't even know who these guys are, but
no, I
had something to say.
Who's this Davis motherfucker? Like,
I would like to pod with Chico one day. Me and
it'll happen.
I told that.
I want to do a podcast with Dave Meltzer because I have met Dave.
Me. I would like to as well.
That's his dream. He want to actually be like the star of the show. He want to be second.
Imagine Dave Meltzer on Black Wrestling?
Oh God.
No, because he'd be like, well, thank you for inviting me, but I don't think I'm a good fit here.
As soon as he hears,
because Matt would be like, so what you giving out this 5-star bullshit for? Like,
yeah, Matt would just be like, how you gonna give this 5 stars over here, but then you're gonna go over here and give this?
Yeah, you mean to tell me this match ain't better than that match? It's like how Farouk would confront Vince McMahon. Are you a racist, Vince McMahon? And Vince McMahon would say,
I'm gonna.
Yeah, exactly. But no,
5 out of 5 match just because to do anything not sober is impossible. All right.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, me and Alvarez would legit be like the Spider-Man meme at that point. Like,
but I will say this about Dave Meltzer, like regardless of what anyone thinks about him, he's the real deal. After meeting him in Brooklyn,
yeah,
he will cite, like, I don't remember what we were talking about, like, oh, did you see this thing on Raw the other day? And he was just like, yeah, that reminds me of a thing from this show I was at in 1983 at the Cow Palace and blah, blah, blah. Like, he is just so encyclopedic.
No,
damn, it's like before.
That. Like,
he's the real deal. Like,
yeah, I respect him as a historian, obviously. And I mean, sources these days, it's hard to trust anyone. Like, if he can report it.
Right. They said Kevin Steen was out.
Yeah, and I can kind of believe him more than some others, unless they like legit have the ties within that company, and we all know who those people are with either company. But like, and there's some things that Meltzer said in the past, like, and I don't agree with a lot of that. His opinions, I think, are bad or out of date. Like Greg Shatashi, he's famous. Like the number one like criticism with him in his eyes is that when Meltzer said Mark was just as bad as the N-word. It's like, nah, no, it's not.
Yeah, no,
not at. And then when he had said about Peyton Royce that one time, like she's not as skinny as she used to be. Like that was again bad, and like come on, man. Like
right.
Again, people.
I will say when he says that stuff, as someone who's not followed him but like has known of his work for a long time, in his head I could tell he's more referring to like he's thinking of what does Vince McMahon want in something.
Yeah, no, I'm saying he's still thinking like an old school guy. He
just says it the wrong way. Like,
but again, like him as a historian, there's still maybe him and Jim Cornette or a few others that are like that can pull up what they can on the spot from this territory in that decade or whatever or in that country.
Like, oh, what's Washington getting roped in here?
But you can follow me on Twitter at Davis aka Drip. Instagram, daviscoltondc, Black Wrestling every Thursday night, Black Wrestling Patreon. Again, here, Banks versus Davis Patreon. We dropped 2 episodes this week. We watched some John Cena promos, commented on those, how great they are, and how he is, the GOAT for a reason. Then we reviewed Take Care 11 years later. We went track by track. Banks hates Marvin's Room, which is not a surprise because he's Banks and he hates shit that is good. But we'll be back on Patreon soon for more content. So pay the $5 there. We appreciate the patrons that are here and in the chat. And Banks versus Davis live every Sunday, like we've been doing. Appreciate y'all stopping by, liking the pod, sharing all that. We're almost at 300 subscribers. We'll be getting there soon.
Hey, if we get to 300 subscribers, I promise y'all I'll shut the fuck up the rest of the year. How about that?
You just want to anyway, because you just want to.
Have you had a Banks versus Davis with Big Mike yet?
Yeah. We've had 2.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm about to say, we had 2.
Yeah, they were early. They were
for some reason I missed them. I know he's been on.
They were earlier in the year. That's why they were super early in the year. Yeah,
I'll send them to you, man. Yeah,
because the first
300 there should be like something.
No, we did. The first one we did the night of the Royal Rumble, and because that's when I lost the BRP title for the first time. And
what happened last night? Like, are you retained?
We don't do predictions for AEW shows. Is the thing.
Bias.
Yeah, I would, but they won't. And then the second episode, it was my dad, fam, and Banks and I. We talked about the Batman. We reviewed the Batman.
That's funny. Yeah, but no, if we get 300, I promise y'all, if y'all tired of me talking, I'll shut the fuck up.
You just want to stop potting anyway because there's not much to talk about. So don't use this as a fucking
But yet this
motherfucker
keep telling me to take a break. All right?
Yeah, because you need to.
I don't think it's telling any tales out of school to be like, you've got 2 more podcasts you're recording today.
Yeah, and I got one coming up too. Like
white noise.
Yeah, 2 Pod Sunday. Yeah.
But nah, definitely. We almost there at 300. So anybody that hasn't subscribed yet, please get us subscribed. I think we actually 16 away now as of this morning.
I think we're 12.
Well, goddamn, they keep going up. All right, so we 12 away. Please,
yeah, we're at 288. Yeah,
get this. We said 300 by the end of the year. Goddamn, we probably a day or two away. Yeah, so please get that up so then I can shut the fuck up, and then I could just be like, well, this not enough. Let's get up to 500 by the end of the year.
That's how it works.
Just because of me. But nah, thank y'all all for being here. You'll see us soon on WrassleRap as well.
No, not me.
Davis.
Nope. Mm-mm.
If I ran the show, yes. But we gotta
Nope.
get past
I'm not. Nope. He has to invite me himself. He has to say Davis or Drip or whatever he thinks my name is.
He said your name like 2 weeks ago. He was just like, yeah, but you Ben was like, well, you don't think he's an actual person. He's like, nah.
Yeah, he thinks
like bring that up a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
He was like, yeah, that Drip
No,
guy.
he has to personally invite me on the show himself.
He doesn't pick up the phone, so I'm lying.
Then it'll never
he
happen.
does pick up the phone.
You'll be like, who's that guy? Dougie? What's his name? Like
Dougie. But nah, thank y'all as always. Like, subscribe. Thank you again, Brother Vin. Check out Oddball. Oddball is by far one of my favorite podcasts out right now. No bullshit. That's a shoot. I listen to it every single week. So check it out. Again, of course, most of y'all here because of BRP and everybody from different podcasts. So thank y'all. And on that note, we out. I need a Pop-Tart.